Jeff has done in small groups or large groups. Jeff's given me some good insight as I've had issues or trying to learn how do I work better with this one individual or this type of person. And Jeff and Noel and I have had countless conversations. Just how do I think? How do I manage this relationship in a way that I don't kill it and be productive or don't put too much time in? So, Jeff, I appreciate everything you've brought to the table so far. So thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Yeah, I got to know Mike and Noel a long time ago, it seems like now. And Mike and Noel, dear friends of mine, and we've traveled together and had all kinds of good discussions always. So I'm always happy to help them any way I can. If they ask, I'm there always. That'll always be the case, guys. So we're going to jump into something because I think what I'm going to need you and Noel to help me with a little bit, because there's so many people on here, is I'm not going to talk to the ones that kind of know this way around the animals. Like Brian Beasley, he knows the animals. I'm going to want you to point out a couple people, Mike. I can't talk to all of them, but some of the brand new ones, once we get our scores, I want to use them as guinea pigs, and you pick them out for me to talk to. I might be able to talk to 4 or 5 people today, but the rest of you, if you want more of this, you can also call me privately, and I'll walk you through it. So Pam Parrish is on here, and she's going to share some slides. So we're just going to jump right into it because I need to find out what animal or animals you are. We'll identify probably 2 animals today for you, and there's 8. There they are. There's the 8 animals. You'll probably be 2 of those today. Not more than 2. Maybe you'll just be 1, but probably 2. So I've got this down to 2 questions, so we don't have to spend a lot of time taking a test. So we're going to do that together, and then I'm going to let Mike pick out some folks to tell me what they picked. All right. So let's look at the first question. Which of these pairings are your preference? And I have to define the word preference because this is where we get into a little bit of in the weeds and people don't understand what I'm talking about. They go their own way with the word preference. I'm talking about not what you are doing right now, not what you did last month or 10 years ago, not what you plan on doing next month, but what is your preference? Meaning this is what you prefer to be if you can only be one of these letters. Which one gives you the most peace, and which one defines who you are at your core? What is your preference? So you're going to pick A, B, C, or D right now. That's all you're going to do is pick A, B, C, or D. We'll come back to this question, but right now just pick a letter. That shouldn't take very long. Okay? Is everybody good? I hope everybody's good with that question. Remember the letter you picked. Let's go to the next question. Same format, same question. Different vocabulary words. I hope you understand that the words that you looked at on the previous question, these are the same words. They're synonyms of the same word. Okay? Which pairing is your preference this time? A, B, C, or D? Again, pick a letter. A newsflash, probably Mike picked A both times. Probably. I'm going to go on a limb and guess that. But today's a little different, Mike. You've never done this before. You've never done the 8 animals. So it's going to be a little bit of a different twist about to happen. Okay.
And my hormone therapy might have changed me.
It might have.
All right.
Well, let's let Mike be a guinea pig because Mike's never done it this way. So let's let Mike be a guinea pig. And then Mike, you can pick some people out and they can tell me what they did. So we're going to go back to the previous question and we're going to look at it a little differently. Okay. So Mike, you picked A, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, this time, you've got to narrow it down. You've got to tell me, is it orderly or factual? If you had to pick one of those 2, which one are you leaning toward?
I get annoyed when things aren't orderly, and I get annoyed when facts aren't right. So I'm trying to figure out which one I like more.
I can help you a little bit. So orderly would be you're more of a planner, organizer, whereas factual, you're more of a corrector, need to correct. Maybe we should let Noel pick this for you.
I think if both are strong, I'm trying to figure out which one. Well, you see me both at home and at the office.
I would say factual is higher than orderly.
Yeah.
Sherry said Sherry said yeah.
Yep.
I suppose I'm okay if things are planned. Is I don't have to be the planner as long as somebody else has a plan. I can go along. So I guess I'd take with factual. Okay, let's run with that.
All right. So we're going with factual. Let's go to the next question. Now, did you pick A again?
I did.
Okay. All right. Now we got to pick stabilizing or investigating.
I will ask a lot of questions. I suspect probably more investigating than stabilizing.
Let's check with your wife. Let's fact check this. Well, what do you think?
I would think stabilizing. Yeah.
You think
So you picked
stabilizing?
stabilizing.
Did you say investigating?
Yeah.
Can you
I'm
give
saying
us the
investigating.
definition of where you're going with on these words, Jeff?
Stabilizing means you're trying to make sure you keep chaos at a minimum. You're just trying to keep order. Investigating is you're trying to get to the bottom of something, and you're asking.
Yeah, I would say the investigating. Yeah, it's that one. Mike
Okay.
likes to get the facts and then he makes a plan.
Yeah.
That.
I
So
will
you
ask a bunch of
see,
questions.
well, you see what happened here is orderly and factual were the first two words, and orderly, the synonym for orderly is stabilizing. The synonym for factual is investigating. So what you have done is you have picked the same. Listen, looking at this, looking at it right now, there are the 8 animals right there. They're there with those 8 words. Those are the 8 animals. So he is in what I call the green zone, which is the analytical zone. And there's 2 animals that take up residence in there now, not just the beaver. Because in the previous test, they grouped these 2 words together. They said, oh, if you're orderly, you got to be factual. If you're factual, you got to be orderly. And it necessarily is not the case. You can be one without the other. So I split them, like I split the atom here. I split them, and now I've got the beaver is orderly and stabilizing. The elephant is factual and investigating. So Mike is double elephant today. How about that? Double elephant. Probably your second, Mike, we definitely know it would probably be beaver. But I've got another way to kind of like figure out which one you would lead off with. We're saying by your choices, you would lead off with the elephant and the beaver would be a close second. But I've got another way to figure this out in just a second. All right. But I want to catch everybody up to see what we got on this call. Mike, can I play this same game with somebody else other than you now and walk them through this and see what they picked?
I think Nick would be a good one. He's new to our staff, and I think it'd be good to engage with him.
Okay, Nick. Hey,
How
Nick, how you
Jeff?
doing?
Doing well, say
Good.
yourself.
Doing good. Good to meet you. What did you pick here on this question? What letter?
On that one, it would be B.
B as in boy?
Yes, sir.
All right. So which did you pick here? Relentless or bold?
Relentless.
Relentless. Okay. All right. Let's go to the next question. What did you pick here?
B and driving.
Okay. So you picked the same animal twice. All right. Now this is the red zone, Nick. This is more the green is more analytical. The red zone is real aggressive, more aggressive. Okay. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying it's just more aggressive. Red is an aggressive color. This was originally, Nick, what we called the lion zone. All right. So I split the atom again because I do think you can be relentless without being bold. And I think you can be bold without being relentless. You see where I'm going with that?
Yes, sir.
What you picked the shark. Now, what is the difference between a shark and a lion when I split those? The lion, when a lion kills their prey, they hang around after the kill, right? And they pieces, this is morbid, I know. They take pieces of what they get it in their mouth and they parade around so everybody can see, look at me, look what I just did, right? But the shark, when they kill somebody or something in the water, they bite it, tear it apart, and they have devoured it and they moved on. They don't make a big fanfare of it. They just do it and it goes, they are under the radar. Their whole goal is to win. The lion wants to win and they want everybody to know they won. So you pick the quiet shark that's a predator under the sea, and you're going to go you're going to knock out your goals, but you're not going to have any fanfare behind it. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Now, my question is, Nick, probably lion is your second, but I'm not sure because I don't know if you're actually rejecting the word bold and energizing, and maybe there's something else that you are. I don't know on this. I mean, when you looked at A, C, and D, did any of those look attractive to you?
Yes, sir. On the first one, C kind of would have been my second go-to, and on the second one, D would have been my second go-to. A little different there.
So D was your second to go to both times?
C as in cat, D as in dog. So they were different. So that's kind of why I was kind of surprised.
Yeah. 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 Because C, Nick, is the complete opposite of B, right? A and D is in dog. A and D are the complete polar opposites of each other. And you'll see that in a second. I want you to see that in a second. But let me break this down for you so you'll find this interesting, because I think it does matter when we're thinking about going into the home. What are we going to run into? Are we going to run into A's? Are we going to run into B's, C's, or D's? So I'm going to give you the breakdown of the percentage. And I think it'll be kind of like enlightening to you, right? So A, only 3% are like Mike Leventovich. That means
That's correct.
Yeah. B, as in boy, like what you picked, 17%. C, as in cat, 58%. D, as in dog, that's what I'm in the D category, by the way, is 22%. Now, what jumps out at you there? The 58% is what jumps out to me. That's about 6 in 10 people. We got a really good chance of running into people that resemble those vocabulary words. And who struggles with meeting the C's where they are is the B's, right? Now, if I was the client, Nick, and I'm a D, and Mike came in to try to sell me, he would be the worst pairing for me because I'm real wary and I don't really care for the A's. And the A's don't like the D's. It's a miracle that me and Mike are friends, but we don't live together or we might kill each other. Noelle doesn't need to make any comments at this time. All right. Noelle is, hey, Nick, can you guess what letter she would have picked both times?
I'm gonna guess C.
Wow. How about that, Noelle? Hey, that's a good thing, Noelle. You've changed your persona, even though at your core, we know what you really are. He thinks you're a C. Isn't that something?
It's because she has me do the dirty work. This is the otter in her. She manipulates me to be the heavy.
But he's picking her as the kind, gentle, sweet golden retriever.
That's because the otter in her has got me doing her dirty work. So she comes across as a nice guy.
She was tired of being the lion. She didn't want to be the heavy anymore, right, Noelle? Yeah.
That's right.
That's interesting. All right. So, Nick, you're the shark, and we're going to talk about, I just need to see if I can find different ones on here. Pick somebody else, Mike, real quick.
All right. Hang on. Gotta look. Chris Nelson. I don't know if he's gone through this. He might.
I'm here.
Be good. All right. So I think Chris is a good one. And then he'll start there. I'll think of someone else.
Then Aaron.
All right.
I think Aaron's on. Maybe Aaron too.
Okay.
All right. Aaron after Chris. Chris, have you done it before? Have you done this?
A while ago.
You did it with me a while ago? All right.
Long time ago.
What letter did you pick right here on this one?
C.
Oh, okay. And which word did you go with? Were you more reliable or compassionate?
I would say reliable.
Okay. Let's see if you're consistent here. Let's go to the next one. Let's see. Did you pick C again?
No, I picked D this time.
Oh, okay. All right, good. All right. What did you, which word did you pick this time?
I went with inspiring.
Did you now? Okay. That's interesting. Now, Nick's going to be a great example, Mike, of how we can even dive deeper into this. So Nick picked 2 different animals, which is reliable. He did not pick the golden. I split the golden area, which is the passive, calm, blue area, and that's the golden, the sweet people. But I split it because you can be reliable without being compassionate, and you can be compassionate without being reliable. So he picked reliable. He's the honeybee there. And then here on the D category, which was always reserved for the otter, I have split those in half. And now we have the otter who's full of piss and vinegar and kind of full of himself, kind of an egomaniac. And we have the hostess with the mostest, communal social penguin. So which one did Chris pick? He picked inspiring, not the influencing, manipulating otter. He picked the inspiring, cheerleading penguin. So Nick is now half honeybee, half penguin. We got to figure out which one of these does Nick lean toward first. Is he more the reliable honeybee? And I'll say this, Chris, I have a lot of respect. If you had to point me to one animal and said, hey, which one, if I'm going to build a big team and I want mostly this, I'd pick the honeybee. Now, the honeybee is not going to be married to doing this. They may only do it part-time, but they are worker bees. And if they tell you they're going to give you, 4 hours a day, by God, they're going to give you 4 hours a day. If they're going to give you 8, they're going to give you 8, but they're not going to give you more than 8. They're going to contract with you. Listen, Chris, I believe that without the honeybees, America would not be America. Our packages from Amazon would not show up because honeybees are delivering it. The honeybees make this country go. Hey, give me an army of honeybees. See, that made you feel real good about yourself, right, Chris? Yeah?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know if that's what you lead off with. You might be this penguin. Heck, the penguin, I mean, they make everybody just feel good about themselves, and they're just real social and communal. They're good to have at parties. They like to talk to everybody. They're just, they're always uplifting, very positive with everybody. I mean, look, we could put Chris in front of a funeral home. He'd make people feel good about coming in there. I mean, he could host the door right there. Now, I don't know if that describes you, Chris. If you are the penguin, which one do you think you're mostly? The reliable honeybee or the inspiring penguin?
I would probably say I'm more the inspiring penguin than I am the reliable honeybee.
Okay. And I have a way to fix the fact check this, Mike. Now watch this. I can figure out. I don't have to go exactly by what he's saying. I can actually figure this out. And I will show you in a minute how I do it, Mike. But watch this. Chris, do you have a need to be appreciated more than being accepted? Do you need to be accepted and loved and liked, or do you need to be appreciated for what you do? Which one is your biggest need in life? To be liked and be liked. Do you need to be liked, or do you need to be appreciated?
I'd much rather be appreciated.
And guess what that points you toward? The honeybee. The penguin wants to be accepted and liked. See how I got you back to where you really probably belong by asking that simple question? I'm going to show you how to do this, Mike,
yes.
If you want to do this in the future. That's kind of cool, isn't it? All right. But hey, either way, that's a good combination. I think that's a great combination. Chris, I'm an otter first and a honeybee second. So listen, you and me as a honeybee, we put in our 8 and hit the gate. We're not married to this, but we will give everything we got to it while we're doing it. But once we check out, we're not thinking about the job. We don't go home. We're not in 24/7. Let's put it that way. The honeybee's in. I'm going to put in my 8 and hit the gate. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Okay.
But that's what the honeybee's about.
Hey, I'm speaking that Chris is in.
I think he's in 24/7.
I'm speaking it.
You're speaking it. I'm not. I just want to let you know. I told Andy. He goes, well, what are you in? I said 8 hours. I'm in 8 hours. I'll give you the best 8 hours I ever get every day. The best 8 hours. I want to be fired up about them 8 hours. Hey, Mike, some days I do 12, but whatever I say I'm going to do, I'm going to give it to you. But after that 12, Mike, I'm thinking about American Idol. I taped it. I'm watching it. I'm all about American
When you do
Idol.
your 12 hours, is that more like the queen bee?
I don't know. You have to ask Chris.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah. Chris, I don't have, I was trying to get Chris's animal over here. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Okay. I do have one of these, Chris. Hey, this is for you. I don't have a honeybee with me, but I do have that.
Okay.
I have, Chris, I just want you to know, I didn't just pick these animals just at random. Me and my wife, we adopt animals at these service centers, and we go there, and because we're adopters and we give money for their food and upkeep, we get to go in the cages with some of them. Now, I ain't going in the cage with the lion, I can tell you that. But I have been in there, Chris, with the penguins, and I'm going to tell you what I found out about the penguins. The head penguin comes walking out, and it's cold in there, by the way, Chris. It's cold in there. That penguin walked right up to me, and he bowed at me and chirped at me and said something in penguin language. I don't know what he was saying. I thought he was mad, but evidently he wasn't. And all these other penguins got in a circle around me, which was quite disturbing because I was thinking, what are they going to do to me? They're going to peck on me or whatever. But all of them started bowing to me, and they were welcoming me to their little tribe. It was quite cool.
Okay.
Yeah, but I went and got inside with the otters. Very disturbing because the otters kept sneaking up on me, Chris, and tapping me on my shoulder and making some noise and run off. They were real mischievous, real full of themselves. I noticed that about the otters. But anyway, I could digress about all the animals I've spent time with. Let's do one more, and then we're going to look at the slides. One more. Who'd you say, Aaron?
Let's do
Thank you,
Aaron
Chris.
Walker. Yeah, let's do Aaron Walker.
Yeah, for me, I'm ready.
What'd you pick? What'd you pick, my friend?
Also, I would say out of that choice C.
You're C. Are you picking
Yes.
reliable or compassionate?
Reliable.
So you the honeybee. All right. You pick the honeybee there because compassionate is the golden retriever. All right. Let's go to the next one. What'd you pick here?
C as well.
And which one did you pick this time? Accommodating or nurturing?
I would say probably accommodating.
That would also be the honeybee. So you scored the
Okay.
honeybee twice. Listen, the honeybee's hard working. Thank God for the honeybee. I don't know what we'd do if we didn't have honeybees in this country. When COVID hit, a lot of the honeybees went into hiding, and we couldn't find people to replace the honeybees. And we were like going to our restaurants, and they didn't have enough didn't have enough servers. We found out that the honeybee was really needed in this country. Do you resemble the honeybee the way I describe it?
Yes.
Yeah.
I would have been at work. I was working in a restaurant during COVID, so yes.
I've been around honeybees my whole life because I've been in, manufacturing companies, and I've seen people. You know what honeybees got? They've got a job mentality. And you know what we need in this company? We need more job mentality. Less entrepreneur, more job mentality. At least in the beginning. And the honeybees have got it in boatloads. So, hey, congratulations on that, being a honeybee. All right. So I think everybody kind of gets the gist. The stabilizing is the beaver and investigating is the elephant. Driving is the shark. Energizing is the lion. Accommodating is the honeybee. Nurturing is the golden. Inspiring is the penguin. And the influencing otter is what we've got now. That's what you're going to see. So let's go to the next slide, Pam. We're ready to kind of get into this a little bit, kind of make this more academic and looking at how you can use this. So before, guys, we had 8 animals. There were 4 animals before I split it. And this is a great slide here. For those of you've never seen this before, it's a great slide. I look at it as when we go to an in-home presentation, you really need all 4 of these animals or all 4 of these zones because there's an order in which you do the presentation. So when you get to the door, you're going to have to pull out your best otter and or otter / penguin. You're going to have to be probably more penguin than otter. You're going to have to be really good at breaking the ice and getting and if you're doing, door knocks, you really got to be the best otter penguin combination you can be, or you're not talking. But this is where Steph is getting people to
Jeff,
like you.
Jeff, you're
All right?
breaking up. Jeff, can you hear me? You're breaking up.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm breaking up. Okay. All right. I'll go upstairs while I'm talking. Did they hear any of that, Pam?
We did. It just broke up a teeny bit, Jeff. You were talking about how when you do a door knock, you kind of need to be a little bit more otter and penguin, and it got a little bit choppy. I don't know. We might have missed a little bit.
Okay. Well, I think the first step in that yellow zone with the otter and the penguin is likability. That's the first step. I believe in the in-home presentation is likability. Now, who struggles with that and needs to kind of work on that? That skill set is not natural for them. Would be people in the green zone, which is the beaver and the elephant. But you can acquire those skills. It's just not a natural skill for you. Mike, you could speak to that too, because you probably, being the beaver elephant, you're probably, that is not your natural state, is to come in and be this hostess with the mostest and trying to get people to like you right off the bat. You probably had to work on that. You wasn't that way your whole life, right?
Yeah, I think that's important. I think when I first started in the home, I was so focused on trying to teach people what I knew. I probably confused the crap out of a lot of people. And I was just so focused on a process that I didn't understand the likability as much. I wasn't unlikable. I had to really strengthen that and ask more questions, get the emotion part out, connect better, and then realize not everybody needed to know how things work. Some people just needed to be told what to do once they liked me enough.
Yeah. And I don't want the people in the green zone, the beaver and elephants, to go, oh God, likability, I got to do that. How long do I have to do that? I don't think you need to spend a whole lot of time gaining likability, but it needs to be done in the beginning, because likability is the prerequisite to trust. People are not going to trust you unless they like you. All right. Unfortunately, that's the way it goes. So as likability comes it says be charming. This just means, hey, are you able to find common ground? That's what charming's about. I don't want you to be thrown by that word. We can all learn to be charming because we can all ask questions that help us build community with somebody, that we can try to start the resemblance of a relationship in the beginning. And we can basically go, hey, you paint, I paint. What is that? Acrylic? I do acrylic too. You're trying to make idle chit chat, but at the same time, you're trying to find common ground. And that's what likability is all about. People like to talk about themselves. So therefore, if you allow them to do that, they're going to like you back. And also, this is interesting. As a client, we're talking about as an agent using likability as a tool at the door and walking down the foyer before you get to the living room. As a client, and I'm an otter, I'm in the yellow zone. If you try to sell me, Mike, and you try to impress me about how much you know, I'm not buying from you based on what you know. If I don't like you and I don't think you like me, I'm not buying from you. That's what you got to realize about this, is that the otter as a client needs to see you as somebody that they like. And if they don't like you, they're not buying from you. And if you don't like them, they're not buying from you. So I want to kind of digress away from talking about as an agent as we walk in a home. This also goes for the client. All right, let's get back to the agent. The agent now gains likability. The next step is we hand the baton off to, now you have to become the golden and the honeybee. This is where you gain trust. This happens probably in the living room. Best served in the living room is you get in there in their favorite chair and you sit on the couch and they're in the recliner. You're comfortable. Now you've gone from likability. Now you're trying to gain trust. And trust means you're going from a macro relationship to a micro relationship. The likability is macro, all surface. It's all idle chit chat. Trustworthiness comes from having a discussion about whatever they want to go. Like, if they want to go down the road of talking about they hadn't talked to their sister in 5 years and they get upset and start crying about it, then you need to show sympathy and empathy in this blue zone if you want to gain trust. If you try to rush the blue zone, you can breeze through the yellow zone, but if you try to rush through this building trust, you try to build surface trust, and guess who has the worst habit of building surface trust? They try to do it in like 10 to 15 minutes, is the lion. Because the lion cannot stand trying to build this trust and listen to somebody talk about their long lost sister they hadn't seen in 5 years. The lion's saying, can you sign on the dotted line here? So I got another appointment. If you want to know where chargebacks come from, it comes from not spending enough time in the golden honeybee zone. If you don't spend enough time building trust, that 58% of the population that you're selling to, the Goldens, the clients, they're going to charge it back. They're not going to charge it back at the time of the visit that you're making, because they're so polite and so well mannered. They're going to act like they really wanted this insurance and they're going to buy it from you. But then they're going to get on the phone with their aunt Rita, and Rita's going to go, "What you been doing today?" "Oh, this Mike guy came by and he sold me some insurance." "Oh God, I wish you hadn't have done that. You know, your Uncle Larry sells that. You need to cancel it." And she goes, "Oh, okay." But if Mike spent 45 minutes crying with this lady, bonding with this lady, when Aunt Rita said, "You need to get Uncle Larry," no, I like Mike. He sit and had pound cake with me. We had sweet tea, and he cares about me. I'm not canceling. That's what that 45 minutes does for you.
Does. Jeff, I want to shift it to the agent side, because we've got people here that might be thinking about this from a client perspective.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've got insight from an agent perspective, because that's the next thing is like, okay, I found I can be good at, like, I've got a wealth of information, but sometimes when the agent starts acting like an otter, I've got to pull out my lion to kind of keep him in line and make sure I'm getting the truth. Sometimes, again, that otter needs to be recognized, or sometimes that golden, which we've got a lot of, we've got to, as much as we've got to fix them and coach them, they need to be loved and shown appreciation and cared for. So I think, again, if you want to provide any insight from not just a client, but as somebody that's coaching an agent and understanding where is that agent at, that might be helpful here.
All right. Let me quickly run through the in-home, just finish this in-home, and then
That's
I'll
fair.
jump into that. So,
Good.
So You get their trust. Now you become you pull out the best green zone, the best beaver, best elephant. This is when you now become credible. This is when you move the conversation, not literally. I'm just being, I'm just trying to let you have a visual of moving through the home. The otter is at the front door in the foyer. The golden's in the living room building the bond. And the kitchen table is where the magic happens, where you become credible and you're not now a subject matter expert and you're actually showing them 3 options. You're becoming the conscientious beaver. Then you quickly try to get them to pick something. And the lion, you tag the lion in, and the lion goes last, and the lion goes, I think we need to go struggling between B and C. I think probably B. You start leading the witness. The lion will get it done and close the deal, because at some point you got to close this off and get on to your next appointment, and the lion is the closer. All right, so otter is all about breaking the ice. Build a bond is the blue golden. The beaver is where you show them their options, and the lion is like getting the check. So when you go, hey, I'm more golden, you need to learn to be all 4 to have a successful in-home presentation. Situationally, listen, I don't want to be a beaver. I don't like being a beaver. But can I be a beaver? Yeah. It hurts my head, but I can do it. But I know that that's my weakness. I'm really good as an otter, and I'm pretty good as a lion and a golden. But crossways here, I struggle being a beaver. So probably what I need to do as an otter is to learn to be more informed, maybe is the word, more informed, and kind of know a little bit more about the product than just at the surface level. That probably would behoove me to know that as an otter. But I'm going to show you, everybody's strength and weakness here in a second. But Mike's question was, if you're an upline, you have downline agents, how you talk to them and how do you get them to move? How we get people to move? I mean, otters, it's really easy to get an otter to do whatever you want. I'm like letting the secrets out of the bag. I shouldn't do this because my fellow otters are probably going to be mad at me now because I'm breaking otter code. But if you want us to do anything, all you have to do is brag on us and use the 3 magic words that gets us to do whatever you want, which is tell me more. Oh my God, you did what? Really? That's incredible. Tell me more. Please tell me more about your life. I could sit here and listen to you all day long. And guess who struggles saying tell me more to an otter? The beaver. They struggle because they don't want to hear more. They're like, God, can we end this? I'm tired of hearing about their life story. So if you want me to do something, you got to stroke my ego. Simple as that. The golden, unlike the otter, I just want to be liked. That's my kryptonite. Like Superman has kryptonite. I just want to be liked. I just want to be adored. I want to be popular. I sound like that in that movie Wicked. Popular, I don't know what I'm talking about. But I just want to be popular. But the golden doesn't want to be liked. They want to be loved. They want to be cared for. And they make up 58% of the population. Lions write the most insurance because they just don't care. They'll do anything to hit their goal. I mean, anything to hit their goal. So therefore, we all are going to run into obstacles trying to make this business work. It's not always as easy as we make it out to be. It's tough. But guess who doesn't care if it's tough? Guess who eats tough for breakfast? The lion. They're like, so what? I don't care if it's impossible. I'll make the impossible possible. I'll fight through all the minutia. I'll fight through the objections. I'll fight through the rejection. I don't care. Nothing phases them. That's why they sell a lot of insurance. So what I would say to the Goldens is we got to figure out how to take the Goldens and let them find their inner lion, because I know that it's there. It's just buried deep. They don't like to bring it out unless they absolutely have to. Trying to get the beavers to do something. I mean, let me just show you an example, Mike. Maybe this would be a good example of how vocabulary can change everything. Let's say that I'm trying to do a corrective action with a downline agent. Something they've done is incorrect and they need to be corrected. If I was trying to get the lion to do something, change their way, which is tough because they're very, very, very forthright, stubborn. It's my way or the highway. I would look at the lion and I would say, what you've been doing here lately frustrates the crap out of me, man. Just frustrates me. Show the frustration to the lion. Guess what? That's their love language. They like it when you get frustrated with them not doing what you ask them to do. They like you challenging them. They'll bark back at you. You'll bark at them. And if a golden retriever is watching this, they'll think these two people are about to fight. No, they're about to hug it out because that's their love language. If two lions are talking, the golden's like, somebody call a paramedic. There's going to be a fight. No, there's not going to be a fight. That's how they talk to each other. The lion respects the fact that you are calling them out because the lion wants to be respected. They honor respect and they want respect. Right. Now, if you're trying to get me as the otter to do something, you better not get frustrated with me and you better not bang your fist on the table. That is going to make me shut down. You better not. What you better do is play to my need to be popular and go, Jeff, your effort here lately disappoints me, man. And take it down an octave. You disappoint me, man. And guess what? That goes all over me. It's like an ocean just going all over me. It goes through me and over me. And I'm thinking, oh my God, it's not that I don't want to, I don't really care if I disappointed Mike. I just don't want to be thought of as not his favorite. You know, I want to be in the know. I want to be popular. I want everybody to like me. So therefore, when he tells me he's disappointed in me, he's got me now. He's got me. Now, the golden retriever, how do you get them? How do you give them corrective action? You look at them and you say, your effort here lately saddens me. Get a little tear going. Get a little tear. Your effort here lately saddens me. And the golden cannot stand to make anybody sad. They will correct their actions if they think they've made you sad. I hope y'all see the difference between sad and disappointment. Two different things. The one that's hard to get to move, the hardest one to move, that because they think everybody's up to something, is the beaver, the elephant and the beaver, that green zone. It's hard to get Mike to move. So I got to be tricky. I got to be tricky with Mike. So what I've got to use is vocabulary like this. I'd say, Mike, your effort here lately confuses me, man. I don't get any clarity from what you're doing. And Mike cannot stand to muddy the waters. He cannot stand that he's contributed to confusion, that he's the source of confusion. He is the reason nobody can see clearly. He is going to correct his actions. I'm just trying to show you, Mike, how just simple vocabulary can change somebody's actions, right? It's kind of what you're asking a little bit, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I love what you just said because I could see Mike if I said, yeah, your effort's confusing me or what you're saying is confusing me. He'd be like on it, like, what's confusing? And then try and figure out where it's confusing. I think you can speak to that probably, Mike.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
That's the last thing I want to be accused of is not being clear.
I know it.
Incredible.
But if you told me, Jeff, what you're doing is confusing, I'm like, yeah, I meant it to be. Yeah, that's good. It's good. Because the otters are tricky. We're all tricky. Can we look at the next one? Let's look at something big here. Something big so you can see something that could be a tool to help you. If we're looking at it as 4 boxes here, there's a lot going on here. I don't want you to look at everything here. But if you look in the center, the key words that we will take away from here that can help you a little bit is the word respect, admiration, acceptance, and appreciation. Okay? So do y'all remember a while ago when I was talking to, was it Chris I was talking to or Nick? I can't remember. Where I kind of distinguish between whether they are a honeybee or a penguin. And I asked him, do you need to be appreciated or accepted? You remember me doing that?
That was Chris, yes.
That was Chris. All right. Pam, can we go to the one with the 8 animals on here? Now I think we're ready for that. Is the next one the 8? Yeah, here we go. So look at here, Mike. Whoa, we jumped one. Go back. All right. So look at the word appreciation. Which 2 animals actually need appreciation? In different forms now, Mike, different forms, but appreciation is the beaver and the honeybee. All right. Which 2 need to be accepted for different reasons? The golden and the penguin. Which 2 need to be admired? The lion and the otter. And which 2 need to be respected? The shark and the elephant. So, Mike, if I was going to try to move you, I would try to move you with respect versus appreciation, admiration, and acceptance. I would use respect strategies to move you because based on what you scored here. But your second place is I would I would right behind it because I think you are a Beaver. Then I would follow up that respect with appreciation strategies. Now I've got those strategies, but we don't have time to get in. I mean, this is a 4-hour class, guys. So I'm just kind of giving you a brief overview. There's a lot of stuff to go over to try to teach you how to do this, but I'm trying to show you there's more than you realize, Mike, that I've got way in the weeds with this since you saw it for the first time.
Okay.
So the least that Mike needs is he don't need me to blow smoke up his butt, which is admiration, and he really don't need to be liked or loved, acceptance. He needs more respect and appreciation. That's how I'm going to get him to do what I want him to do. Does that make sense, Mike?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what would you, now I'm tricky now. I scored otter and honeybee. So what do I need? What 2 things do I need by looking at this? Can you pick out what I need? Otter and honeybee.
So admiration and appreciation.
Yep. That's the 2 I need. I don't really care about being respected and I don't need to be accepted, but I do like you bragging on appreciating the time and effort I put into something. I need those 2 things. I really like those 2 things. I'm making this more simple than it is, but I hope you can see. Let's look at, I've got a couple slides that I just want to show you real quick before we get off here. I hope this has been informative so far. These 2, this is not a functional relationship here. The lion and the golden. It's not. And if I was giving advice to the lions and you had goldens in your downline or you had golden clients, you better learn to be a little bit more patient and you better learn to listen. And not just listen, but actually hear what they've got to say. Because lions will listen. They listen to the words coming out of somebody's mouth, but they're not hearing the words. They're not internalizing the words. Lions are, one of the hardest things for lions to do is be sympathetic and empathetic. And they have no patience. They're like, let's get this going. Let's move. I don't have time for idle chit chat. Boy, if you run up against a lion client, you better not waste their time. They may take your ATM and toss it out. They're going to go, hey, you got 15 minutes to sell me this insurance. Go, TikTok. And some of the Goldens freak out because they've prepared and they're going in there to try to build a relationship. And the lion doesn't want a relationship with you. And the Golden's like, but Mike told me to build a relationship. Not with a lion. You build the relationship on the back end, not the front end. You don't waste their time. You get to the point. Then on the back end, you build that relationship on the way out, not the way in. So it's different with the lion. It's way different. They're a tough sell. But I'm going to tell you something about a lion. If they ever buy from you, they're not charging it back. Chargebacks don't come from lions and beavers. They're the toughest sales. But if they buy, it's gold. They're not charging back. The ones that charge it back are Goldens and otters. By the way, the otter is actually the hardest person to sell because they have no intention to buy from you to begin with. They are going to waste a whole hour of your time and then they're never going to buy.
Go ahead. Nick's got a question.
Yeah, Nick.
So, Jeff, have you broke this down to body language?
Yeah, but it doesn't match up real well. It's not apples to apples with
Copy
this.
that.
It's just
Appreciate it. Just interested.
So
Yeah.
on the sales side, another note about lions, and this is something I think when some of our golden retrievers or otters that are there, when they're with the lion says, get to it. Sometimes while they might want to get through any relationship and questions you got about their family, it doesn't mean we go into Pez dispenser mode and start just spitting out prices. We still have to contain and ask some questions to tame that lion to figure out what the hell are we doing. So you just don't go and suddenly go into, well, let me show you something. Just because he demands a price, you say, whoa, hang on. Sounds like you want to get to this. Help me understand, what exactly do you need or what is your current situation? You may not need anything. And the last thing you want to do is waste time or money. So help me. What is the situation? Like you got to go back. So you might skip through some of the relationship, but you don't fall prey to suddenly abandoning your whole process and knowing what the problem is. You're not going to suddenly be a doctor and start prescribing medications and surgeries because the patient demands it. You still, if you're in that situation. So if anybody finds that, stick to your guns as far as a process.
A lion would appreciate you coming back and saying, yeah, I'm going to get to that. Hold that thought. I'm going to get to that. Standing up to them versus like they want you to, let me get those prices for you. But if you stand up to them, they'll respect you more.
Yep.
Do you agree with that, Jeff?
I totally agree with that. I totally agree with that. You know, lions, I don't think they're that tough. I mean, some people, my mother is a golden, Noel, but if you call her on the phone, my sister has coached her into being a lion. So who you might meet on the phone that you think is a lion, I wouldn't go with what you hear on the phone trying to figure out what animal they are. Wait till you get there, because some people will give you their best lion because they've been to this is what you're going to do if you call my mother. She's going to go, I don't know you, unknown number, scammer, and hang up on you. My mother's not mean like that, but my sister's coached her into being a lion. If you got over to my mother's house and door knocked her, she's letting everybody in. She's going to cook you dinner. But on the phone, she's going to give you her best lion. Goldens, as agents dealing with lions in their downline, my best advice to you is to be direct. Do not ask lions open-ended questions. Do not say, no, well, what do you think about that? You need to go, you ask her yes to no questions, true, false questions, multiple choices, pushing your luck. And you got about 3 or 4 questions you can ask her before she's going to get tired of answering your questions. So get to the point, be direct, ask closed-ended questions, and condense your material. Have a long version and have a shorter version. But like Mike said, even your shorter version is still building a relationship. It's just a condensed version of that so that, you know, you can accommodate this busy lion. They all seem to be, they have this sense of urgency about them that makes you very nervous when you're around them. I hate it because they're always, they used to look at their watch. Now they take their phone out and look at it like 3 minutes has only passed. It's only been 3 minutes. And they're looking at it like, I wish this was over with. Like, you're boring me. Now, listen to this. If this is the 4 things that the 4 the boxes will ask you as a client. If you got me in front of you and I'm the otter, my question is, Noel, what do you got on yourself? Tell me what you got on yourself. See, I'm going to flip it on her and I'm going to become the salesperson and I'm going to try to take over the narrative. I'm like, so tell me what you got on yourself. Hey, can you give me a little bit of that? What kind of deal can you get me on that? And almost like they're trying to barter you about insurance. The lion's going to go, how much is this going to cost me? The beaver's going to go, how long have you been selling insurance and when did you get your license? And the golden's go, can you help my family? Because we really need some help. That's the 4 people that you meet, right? Can we look at the next one real quick? This is a very dysfunctional relationship, and this is me and Mike. I know if Mike is my client, I better get very deliberate, meaning I don't need to talk about I tell a lot of stories, and I digress a lot, and that's going to irritate Mike. If he's never met me, he's going to give me some grace because he knows me, but if he didn't know me, and I came in there with my big flamboyant Jeff self, and I'm just saying, hey, that reminds me of a story, Mike. Let me tell you about this story. And Mike's sitting there going, can he get to the point? Is there a point coming sometime today? And then I better get prepared. I better know a little bit about what I'm talking about and not wing it. That would help. The beaver, on the other hand, Mike, if he's selling me, better be open to my stories. If I'm the client, he better take time to listen to every story I got and be amazed by everything I've accomplished and act like he's interested in it and recognize my greatness if he wants to sell me. How about that, Mike? He's thinking, thank God there's only 22% of them. I know you run into them in the home. I know you do.
Yeah. Or as agents.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I know we blocked out an hour. I know.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I went past
No,
that.
you're good. We covered a lot here. I think this is helpful.
Yeah, because I've got more. This is just the basics, and I hope you understand. I rushed through it as quick as I could, but I hope you got something out of it today.
I think so. I think, you got to know yourself to lead yourself, and you got to know yourself to lead others. So knowing who you are is probably the first step in this.
And also, Mike, at Family Reunion, what I'm going to try to do from the stage, which I have not done, is to teach you how to figure out who you're looking at without a test within like 2 minutes.
There we go. That's key. Whether you're on an interview or you're in a client's home, how do you figure that out quick? That'll be big.